medical professional before participating in any activities offered by Chronically Awesome. Never rely on our content in place of seeking professional medical advice. By using this video, you agree that you are voluntarily using or acting upon our content. You also agree that, save where Chronically Awesome is at fault, your use of or acting upon the content is at your own risk, including, but not limited to, all risk to yourself of harm, injury or illness, and in particular any harm, injury or illness resulting from overexertion or exacerbation of any medical conditions caused by the use of the content. Always remember that, if you experience pain while using or acting upon our content, stop and consult your doctor or medical professional. Always warm up before a class and warm down after. You do not need to complete an entire class. You can always start with a short section and build up to completing a full class over time. Pace yourself and listen to your body. Most of all, have fun. Exercise should be empowering and make you feel good. If it's not fun, try a different style of class until you find something you enjoy.
So we're going to start with a block between the knees today. If you don't have a block, you could just have a folded up towel, or if you have a soft Pilates ball, that might work as well. But we've just got a very gentle connection, soft connection, and I just want you to start to really feel your pelvic floor just start to activate a little bit. So remembering that sensation of closing both the front and the back passage, like you're trying to prevent yourself from having a wee or passing wind. And as you start to close both those openings, I want you to have a sort of sense of lifting up through the pelvis. But we're keeping the abdominals relaxed and we're not bracing in the body. So I just want you to hold your block or your towel between the knees, and we're just going to take some breaths, just feeling the body start to settle in and relax. So breathing in through the nose and exhaling all the way out, so really down into your pelvis. Breathing in and breathing out. And taking a moment to think about the 3 body weights into the mat, so the back of the head, the back of the ribcage and the back of the pelvis. And just having the natural curves of the spine into the mat. I'm going to start by just mobilizing our shoulders, releasing any tension we might have across the chest. So let's bring the arms over chest, palms facing each other. I want you to feel that deep connection in the pelvic floor as you take a breath in and lift your right arm up and away off the mat. And then lowering it back down. Other side, breathing in and exhaling back down. So we're still keeping a really soft connection on the block. Feeling the pelvic floor just be a little bit activated. And do one more to each side. Breathing in, reach. Exhaling, lower. Breathing in, reach. Feeling that scapula glide up. Lower back down. Let's do 3 more, but this time both together. So you're reaching both arms, feeling both scapulas come away from the mat. And lower back down. Breathing in, reach. A little connection between the deep abdominals and the pelvic floor. And lower. One more, breathing in. And lowering back down. Palms face the knees, and then you can just draw them back down, where we're going to go straight into our rib cage closure. So let's take a breath in as we reach those arms up, and exhale, drawing the arms back so they're framing the head, just mindful that those ribs don't flare away or pop away from the mat. So we're really having to activate the core and the pelvic floor a little bit more to keep ourselves in a nice alignment. So breathing in and exhaling. Breathing in and exhaling. One more, breathing in and exhaling. Breathing in and exhaling. Good. So I want us to come into a couple of spine curls, keeping the block between our knees. So just thinking about that grounded tailbone for a moment. And as we take a breath in, I want you to exhale and start to tuck that tailbone so that lower back starts to flatten into the mat. And then we're peeling and wheeling the spine away, keeping that connection on the block. Sense of openness across the hips and just letting the rib cage start to release down. Can you squeeze on that block just for one breath and then release? And then lower that spine back down, bone by bone, keeping that tailbone tucked. And then release back down into the mat. So 2 more, adding that little squeeze of the block. Breath in, breath out. So as that top, keeping those hips open, you're just going to engage those thighs ever so gently, feeling that pelvic floor just have to be activated a little bit more. And then release and lower the spine back down. One more, breathing in, breathing out. So letting those ribs soften, breathe in as you squeeze, gentle connection. Release and lower back down, bone by bone. And just settling yourself back down into the mat. You can take that block away and just place it by one side. And just bring those knees back to being nice parallel hip width apart. Even weight through those hips. We're just going to come into some single knee folds and into our toe taps. So let's lift that right heel. Breathe in to prepare, and as you exhale, you're drawing that knee in, engaging that pelvic floor muscle and the deep abdominals, lowering it back down with control. Other side. So drawing that knee in, maintaining a nice 90-degree angle. And then with control, lowering it back in. Going again. So in and down. In and down. For the next set, can we hold both knees up together? So let's draw in the right, followed by the left. Maintain this position, feel the deep abdominals, pelvic floor. And then lower back down with control, one at a time. Going again. Exhaling. Breathing in and exhaling. Breathe in, maintain. And then lowering back down. Good. On the next set, we're going to come into the toe taps. So let's come into that double knee fold. Softening those rib cage down. And then if you're happy, we're going to breathe in as we lengthen that thigh away. Tapping that toe down, exhaling, coming back. Breathing in and exhaling. Breathing in. Again, really strong, really getting a good idea and a sense of our centering here. I'm going to do one more to each side. And hug those knees in. Just give yourself a quick little release. Maybe just rock and open that lower back. And then place those feet back down to the mat. So we're going to add a little bit of leg extension now. So let's come into our single knee fold with the right. And then I want you to lengthen that leg all, extend it away, about in line with your knee. Just keep it here. Draw that knee back in, lower back down, other side. So let's exhale, inhale, lengthen and reach, and then draw it back in, and lower, other side, single knee fold, extend, engaging that centering, bend that knee, and lower, other side, so lengthening. Bending back. So the whole time we're really aware of those deep abdominals and the pelvic floor. Just giving yourself a little reminder about that sort of closing of the openings of the pelvis. We've got one more set to go. So Single knee fold. Extend. Coming back in and lower. Extend. Back in and lower. Good. Let's bring those feet together. Now you can, if you want, have the block back in between our knees, just to feel that little connection. We're going to have the arms open wide, feeling a nice openness across the chest, relaxing those shoulders into the mat. Let's take a breath in to prepare, and as you exhale, I want you to start to take those knees over to the right, just letting the feet lift away, or the top foot lift away. Hold here and squeeze and engage that block. Breathe in, exhaling, drawing yourself back to center. Other side. So we exhale. Getting that lovely rotation, feeling that opposite hip lift, but shoulders stay heavy and into the mat. Breathe in. Good. Other side again. So really using that block to keep that connection. And going back over to the other side. Back in, and then you can just relax. So again, we can remove that block, and we're just going to hug both those knees back in again. Give yourself a little rock. You can open the knees if that feels nice. You can keep the toes together. And the other way. And placing those feet back down. So we're going to just add a little bit more now with our stability in that pelvis. So let's come back into the double knee fold. You can keep your hands on your hips, and we're going to extend the leg up towards the ceiling. Now if it needs, try and keep the leg straight, but if you can't bring it high, you can have it a little bit further away from the body. But nice length and energy through the feet, making sure we haven't locked that knee back. And we're going to lower and draw it back. 2 more times. Lower, grounded tailbone. Back up. So we exhale and we inhale. Once you've done 3 that side, you're going to fold that knee back in and lower the foot back down. Other side. So let's draw that knee in, single knee fold, and extend it up to the ceiling, feeling that lovely stretch. Softly pointed toe. Breath in, breath out. Lowering it back down, breathing in, back up. Good. After you've done about 3, you're going to fold that knee back in and lower it back down. So keeping our hands where they are, we're going to go into some knee drops now. So engaging that center, you're going to take a breath in. As you exhale, you're going to start to let that knee roll out to the border. Keep that pelvis stable. Hold here. Exhaling, closing back in. Other side. Exhaling as you open. Maintain breathing. Good. Other side. So just letting that knee come away from the body, but we're really engaging the core to keep that pelvis and spine nice and stable. Exhaling and inhaling. We've got 1 more to go. 1 more on each side, making sure you're even. We exhale, breathe in, hold, and exhale back. Good. And then you can just lengthen those legs away. Really open the hips, and just point and flex the feet for a moment. Let the arms relax down by the side. And then just allow the head to roll from side to side. And then just relaxing in the center. So from lying down, we're going to carefully come up to a seated position, and we're going to just work the hip joints a little bit more. So we're going to come into a slightly long frog position. So the legs are slightly wider than hips, the knees are bent, and we're laterally rotating from the hip. So we want the heels to be inwards towards the body and the toes out. And we're going to just gently lean back onto our hands, keep that chest open, and we've got a neutral spine and pelvis. So we're not just collapsing, we're still keeping our centering switched on and a connection through those deep abdominals and our pelvic floor. So with this exercise, zigzags, as long as this feels comfortable for you, we're going to start to push the legs away, so straighten them, but still keep them turned out. And then we're going to rotate them in towards each other, bend the knees, and open the knees. So we're pushing away, we're lengthening, straightening those legs, the legs are turned out, and then we're bringing the toes together, so we're now going into medial rotation. And then we're bending the knees, so the knees are almost touching, and then we're opening. So we're pushing, we're turning inwards, and then we're bending. So just keep going with here. If you've got a grippy mat, it might be easier doing this on the carpet or wearing socks on a slidey floor. But just letting those hips really open. And then on the next one, we're going to reverse it. So this time, we're going to have the legs out. So we're in our lateral rotation. We're then going to bend the knees towards the body, draw the knees together and push away. So we're opening, we're bending, and we're pushing. So I will just roll up my mat so you might get a little bit more of an understanding. Might be easier. My mat was getting grippy. So we're pushing, we're rolling, open, push, draw them in. Still really nice. You might find that depending, it might feel a bit different on each side, but as long as you're still maintaining that neutral pelvis and spine throughout, and we've got that connection with the deep abdominals and the pelvic floor. One more, and then you can just relax the feet, come off the wrists, and just start to hug the knees, just drawing your spine forward. Just give yourself a little hug. Sitting back up and just rolling those shoulders. Good. So if you've rolled your mat up like me, we can just place that back. We're now going to come into a little bit of spinal rotation, just because it feels really good to finish on some rotation, and then a little bit of flexion forward. So we're going to come into our legs fully together. So the ankles, the knees, the thighs. If you need to sit on a block, do. And we're going to bring our arms out by the side, the palms are facing below, and just letting those shoulders come down the backs of the rib cage. So we're not bringing the arms up, we're letting them relax, we're still keeping length and energy through that spine. So let's take a breath in. As we exhale, we're going to start to turn our head, our neck, and our upper chest as we start to come into a little bit of rotation. Take a breath here, exhaling, drawing from that center as you come back to the start. Other side, breath in, breath out, thinking head, neck, breastbone. Breathe in here, maintain, then exhaling, coming back. So we're going to just keep going for a few more of these, so we've still got that length in the spine, and we've still got that connection throughout the pelvic floor and the deep abdominals. If it's too much, with the arms out by the side, you can bring them down into a Cossack position if that's a bit nicer, but just making sure that those elbows are lower than your shoulders. So you've got two challenges there. We're going to do one more to each side, whether you have your arms in this position or have them out by the side, but keeping that nice connection to the thighs. Rotating around, breathing in, exhaling, coming back to center. Last one, head, neck, upper spine, rotation, and then releasing back, or you can just lower those arms down, just roll those shoulders twice. So let's come and eat into our long frog position. So just bringing the soles of the feet together and the knees out to the side. If this feels uncomfortable, you can come into a crossed leg position or have your feet out, whatever feels better for you. I'm going to come into my long frog, arms are down by the side and relaxed. Lengthen that spine, and we're still nicely in our neutral, so our head is stacked on top of our rib cage, on top of our pelvis. Even weight through our seat bones. Let's take a breath in as we reach that left arm up, let the shoulder draw down, and then as we exhale, you're going to bend that opposite elbow and just start to get that lovely lateral flexion in the spine. Breathe in here, and then exhaling, restacking, lowering that arm down. So breathing in, breathing out. Inhale, letting the other arm bend, flexing over, remaining lengthened both sides of the waist. And then restacking and lowering. Other side. Breathing in, exhaling. Holding for a breath. Then restacking and lowering that arm. So imagining you're between two panes of glass, so we're not drawing ourselves forward or back. Restack. And then lower back down. Good. Just roll those shoulders twice. We're going to bring the knees together now. We're just going to come into a nice spine stretch forward, which feels really, really good. So we're going to bring the feet can be back into their long frog if this feels comfortable for you, or if you prefer, you can have the legs straight. So having a fair distance away from the body, we're not collapsed in the spine, we're really sitting tall and lengthening through the spine, arms on the shins. Looking forward, I want you to take a breath in, and as you exhale, you're going to tuck that chin first and start to flex that spine forward. So allowing the hands to slide down the shins, we're not moving our pelvis, but working that spine forward like we're going up and over a ball. So before you get any movement in that pelvis, you're going to take a breath in here. And then exhaling, coming from the bottom, we're going to restack that spine. Bone by bone by bone, looking up, back to the start. So let's go again, breathing in and releasing. So really scooping the belly, engaging that pelvic floor. Maybe going a little bit further this time. Breathing in, maintain the position, then exhaling, coming from that center, engaging that centering. Restacking, back to the start. We're going to do one more, and then as we finish, we're actually going to come into a little extension, so really shining that breastbone forward. So start off by bringing yourself over the knees. So breath in, breath out, tuck that chin first, scoop the belly, flex forward. Imagine we've got this imaginary ball in front of us. So allowing that spine to come down as far as you feel happy. Breathe in and then exhaling, restacking from the bottom, bone by bone by bone. And then once you're up, we can just start to shine that breastbone forward towards the ceiling, just opening the throat, breathing in, and then just relaxing back to the starting position. Good. So just staying where you are. You can either leave your legs as they are or come into a nice cross position, whatever feels good for you. But we're just going to roll those shoulders. Other way. And then just carefully, we're just going to allow the right ear to go over to the right shoulder. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, and exhaling, coming back to center. Other side. So we exhale, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, and then exhale. And then if it feels okay, we can just tuck that chin. Come back to the center and then open the throat. Back to center, just tuck that chin again. Bringing back to center, open the throat. Good, and now we'll just do a little bit of rotation. So nice breath in, exhaling. Let's start with the left. Not moving those shoulders. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. And just coming back to center. We're going to reach those arms all the way up, shoulders down the back. Come into a prayer position, lowering those elbows, drawing those thumbs into the sternum. Maintain here, breathe in, and then exhaling, drawing those arms all the way back up and floating them back down. Good, let's just do that one more time. Let's take a breath in, connect the hands, exhaling, coming into a nice prayer position. Let's take one breath in here. Reach them back up, float them down. And this is where I'll leave you. Thank you very much.